In this video, you will learn why dogs snatch food, how you may have been accidentally causing or reinforcing them to, and of course, how to teach your dog to take treats gently.
Hi, I'm Ellie. I'm a dog behaviour specialist from Essex. The goal of this channel is to give you as much dog training and behaviour advice as possible. If you like what you see and you want to learn more, it's completely free to subscribe to my channel. Let's get back to the video.
The why is equally as important as the solution. If you don't know why your dog is snatching food, then you won't know which changes to make and which solution will work best for you if you don't know the reason why your dog is snatching treats in the first place. Some dogs will only snatch food in certain situations, and others will snatch regardless of where they are or what is happening. First and foremost, whenever you're trying to change dog behaviour, you need to rule out medical problems first. Dogs snatch food and have a huge arousal and urgency around food because of disturbance, parasites and bacteria of the gut. This is far more common than you would believe. For example, Giardia is rife, even with dogs who are routinely treated for worms and parasites. This is because Giardia is a bacteria that's found in the ground, which in more recent years has spread like wildfire around dogs. I've personally owned 4 dogs who've had Giardia, and I've worked with in excess of 20 clients whose dogs have had Giardia. It doesn't mean you're not caring for your dog properly. They can pick it up anywhere. And with that in mind, I strongly advise that everyone get their dog checked out either by their vet and get a feces sample taken or with wormcount.com. Number 2. Your dog snatches treats because they are stressed or anxious. It is often thought that dogs won't eat if they are too stressed, but some dogs will always eat regardless of how stressed they are. But their usual ability to take treats gently rapidly goes out the window, and this becomes snatching instead. If this sounds like your dog, it may be that the environment is too much for them. Perhaps their training class isn't as helpful for them as you think it is. Or perhaps they get overexcited or overstimulated in certain situations, and the snatching is an indicator for you that they may need a break or some distance from what is happening. Remember, dog behaviour doesn't lie, and it always happens for a reason. Number 3. Your dog snatches treats because other dogs are too close. Now, they may live with these dogs or they may walk with them regularly. They could be good friends with your dog, but your dog just doesn't like them in close proximity when there is food available. Snatching in this situation is communication and an indicator to you that something needs to change in order for them to feel more relaxed. Number 4. Your dog snatches treats because you've taught them to. In short, you offer them a treat, the dog snatches the treat, they get the treat. Or you offer a treat, your dog tries to snatch the treat, so you close your hand or move it away and say gently, nicely, gently, and then you offer it again and the dog takes it gently. What you think you're doing is teaching the dog to take treats gently. What you're actually doing is teaching your dog a pattern and a routine, which is to snatch first and then take gently afterwards. This also teaches them that unless you say gently or nicely, that they can snatch everything. 5. Your dog snatches treats because they're hungry. Now, this sounds really obvious, but wherever there is urgency around food, your dog's tolerance and patience for your human slow-speed treat delivery will cause snatching. If you've ever withheld a meal in the name of training, there will be so much urgency and arousal around food that you have caused. You should never withhold food in order to train your dog. Anyone who advises you to withhold food from your dog in order to train them like the plague. Instead, give them 3/4 of their food allowance, and with the remaining quarter, train them with this once they finish their meal at the pace they want to. If your puppy or dog is only interested in food when they are starving hungry, then this is screaming to you that they actually don't enjoy the way that you're teaching them, and they don't enjoy the whole training process, or they don't actually find the food that you're giving them that valuable, in which case it's not a reward in the first place. To make food more interesting, either up the value of the food or start animating the food by flicking it and throwing it for your dog to find. If neither of these work, food isn't a motivator for your dog, so you need to find out what your dog actually does want. These are called functional rewards, such as freedom, play, socialising, exploring, distance, water, sniffing, swimming, and social time. Number 6. You've built up so much arousal around training with food using compliance-based training. And if you don't know what that is, check out my most recent video about self-control versus compliance. And you've been over-controlling your dog's food, such as getting them to wait before meals and getting them to sit before every treat. delivering food at a snail-like pace, and most importantly, you've probably been giving them treats when they are sitting or looking up at you and you are delivering it from above them. It's no wonder your dog snatches treats. Of course they do. You taught them to. Here's what you need to do to teach your dog how to take treats gently. Offer your treat in an open, flat hand underneath your dog's chin, like feeding a horse. Use a marker word to let the dog know that they are getting a treat, like yes or good. Make sure you deliver quickly. Now that it is underneath them, they don't have to stretch or reach for it, and in order to get it, they have to lick it out of your hand, like water. So to recap, marker word, flat open hand, be quick. Honesty, in over 90% of the treats that I give dogs, they come from the floor, because I either drop them, flick them, throw them, or make sure I intentionally place them out on the floor for the dog to get themselves. The reason for this is it's usually more helpful for training and behaviour work. For example, if I'm trying to teach a stay or a down position, it's much more beneficial that my treat is coming from the floor, because this will help the dog stay in the position they are if they think they've got to sniff the treat on the ground and find it themselves. If I were to offer the treat with an outstretched arm to their mouth, the chances are the dog's probably going to pop up to try and help me give it to them quicker. If I'm working with reactive dogs or dogs who are fearful of the outside, I don't really want them looking around and looking up at me. What I want them doing is engaging with the environment. So by dropping treats on the floor, I'm encouraging them to sniff and have their eyes lower down rather than scanning the environment for what may be there. It also helps them to sniff more, because sniffing, unless you have a hunting breed, is calming and self-soothing to dogs, and it helps them to relax. Plus, it helps to break eye contact with potential triggers. So nearly all the rewards come from the floor. Likewise, with a reactive dog, if I need to move out of a situation quickly, I will say, get that, and flick a treat far ahead in the direction I'm walking in, so the dog moves more quickly with me because they're now focusing on chasing their treat, not on the problem. If I want to encourage calmness, I place the treat slowly and gently to the floor. If I need speed and I want to encourage excitement or enthusiasm, I flick or throw it to the floor. Marker words also match the emotion that I'm trying to encourage. If I'm trying to encourage calmness, I will say good or yes. If I'm trying to encourage excitement and enthusiasm, I will say yes and get that. So there is a clear difference for my dog. For anyone who thinks giving food from the floor will encourage their dog to scavenge, I have news for you. The reason we have dogs in our lives today is because their ancestors were scavengers, and that is what brought them to the humans, and how eventually over time they became domesticated. You only giving food from your hand or from a bowl is not going to change 30,000 years of domestication and genetics. Dogs are natural-born scavengers, and if they didn't have us feeding them from a bowl every day, they would know instinctively how to go out and find their own food. Like with all breed traits, some dog breeds are much more gifted at scavenging for food than others. If you own a Beagle, a Labrador, a Golden Retriever or a Spaniel, I'm sure you are very familiar with their scavenging and stealing food traits. Self-control training can help with this. So once you've successfully taught your dog not to snatch treats anymore, look into Susan Garrett's It's Your Choice training. I have an example video for the technique that you can introduce to your dog when they're ready.